tea, and truth. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
So here we sip, share, and spill on what not so many people are willing to talk about out loud. And today, ladies, we are touching on a hot one, virginity. Hi, virgins.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
Representing.
This was the crown jewel of womanhood. But in 2025, is it still valuable or is it completely outdated? So to help us talk about this, we have our bold and brutally honest millennial ladies, Eve Wanja and Natasha. We also have the millennial ladies, the seasoned and outspoken Sharon, and myself, Martha. And also, we shall be having the voice of a psychologist. So, hope you're ready. So, ladies, let's start easy. In 2025, is virginity still valuable?
It depends on who you ask. It really depends on who you ask. To some people, it does not amount to anything. To some, it is holy grail. Yeah. So it depends on which Gen Z. At the end of the day, all of us are from different households. At the end of the day, there's some that are strict. There's some that are not. There's people who've experienced a lot in life, whether it's be it parenting, even in just generally life. There's people who've walked different paths. So I think it depends on who you ask and what time you're asking them in their life. Yeah.
So you, at this time in your
I am not
life,
speaking for myself.
is
I'm
it?
not speaking for myself. Hey, unataka tu nijianike tu.
Yes.
Waseme Natasha unajua sasa yeye anakuanga. So I feel like personally I would say virginity, if you asked me, I would put it in a different I would word it different. I'd say it's called self-respect. It doesn't necessarily have to be sexually related, but I'd say it stands for self-worth and self-respect. So, yeah.
I don't think so. Because now, are we saying that the ones who are not virgins, your self-worth and value you're talking about, hawana ama?
I think it narrows down to yourself as an individual.
Yes.
Like, if you actually put value to virginity as a way of, respecting yourself, like keeping it, not even virginity, let's also talk about like celibacy, like you already somewhere right there, and then for a period there, you decided to close it for a moment. So I think by the end of the day, it's about you as a person. If that is something that you perceive as valuable to you, or a way of respecting yourself and your body and your values and all those blah, 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 blahs, then fine. But now, if you're doing it or perceiving it and putting value to it simply because of how the society is telling you, simply because, your man is, because of society or other people, now that's where the difference comes in.
Yeah.
Also, if for you, it's not like you're ready, you're okay, you want to go ahead and do it, you want to have fun, I think we shouldn't really put virginity and self-respect, like attaching self-respect to virginity. However, someone can actually attach virginity to self-respect. Sijui kama tuko on the same. Yeah, that's how I feel.
I think the way you've said, to add to that, I feel like when we put virginity and also like add it on and tag it along with other things, I feel like we're just politicizing some things. Kuna organs zingine tu tunaziweka in political language. Tunaanza sasa kubishana sasa inakuwa kama wewe si vajo unini, I feel like that's just political language, but in a sexual way, and it's not supposed to be like that. Bodies are not political things to be argued over, or how you're using your body.
The only thing I don't like about this virginity thing, because I know 80% is because of the society, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing, it's because mostly we're talking about women,
Clock it.
Right.
we're not even talking about men. And tumeambiwa tukwe virgins, tujihold, tujikeep for the man.
Na how
Satisfy the
hawajiweki.
You understand? That's the only thing about I don't like about this whole
Kwanza
thing.
yao
because
inasemekana ati ni experience. Aje?
Yo.
Yeah,
I
right?
think I'll also touch on same thing in some many old school, yeah? I'll touch on the church. Because kitambo ulikuwa unaambiwa, the minute you lose it, you're not pure. Unaona, you're not pure. Msichana lazima ujiweke. You get, and I remember, tumeka sisi wote even with the guys, but they will still insist. Wewe, as a woman, as a girl, you're supposed to kujiweka. But hakuna mwanaume anaambiwa, the boys are not being told, you do not have, unajua, you're not going to be pure. But you, if you have sex, wewe utakuwa pure, hakuna mtu atakutaka, you get.
Sasa hapo ndio na agree nasema let it be for you.
Yes.
Because as a millennial utakuja sasa later ndio na realize hata hakukuwa na trophy. You understand? It was not worth it. You know. So yeah, but siambi the virgins
And
Korea
what's
was
interesting is that right now the conversation is switching because now guys are like, oh, we want an experienced woman. Atatoa experience. Atatoa experience. Kama unataka virgin ama unataka experience. Pick a battlefield, please. Chagua ni war gani unataka kupigana. Hauwezi sema ati I want a virgin. Nataka msichana amekuwa mpole. Alafu pia they also wanasema unajua virginity hana experience, ni mpole, open to absorb. Kuna watu huku nje by the way, they are virgins but they are not like si wapole at all.
And let me tell you, now that we remember even back in our days, ulikuwa unasikia ati mimi acha nitafute staki virgin kwa sababu tutasumbuana, you know, itakuwa tumesumbuana kabla nipewe, kabla you get the whole vibe. Afadhali nitafute
Experience.
And it's like that nowadays because what happens day one squeezy with I don't know, because back in the day sisi tulikuwa tumezoea
tunapelekwa
date anakupeleka na kubaya ice cream.
Marination.
I feel like hiyo ni connection ndo ulale na yeye.
Connection. Unatafuta connection ile tutavibaje, unaona? Kwaje? But sasa siku hizi at day one someone wants to take you out na same day.
And you know, that reminds me, I was in this seminar some time back, and then youth seminar, you know, the church in Nini, and then someone actually asked that question. Like a lady asked, like I wouldn't want like the first day with my husband, ikuwe like I know nothing, like I'm zero, I'm like all green and everything. But how do I gain experience? And yet experience is the best teacher, you know. So the facilitator was like, man,
for women it's so hard.
The facilitator was like, see, theory, like you research this thing. Then someone else said, so like it's okay for me to read and study those books of Kama Sutra. You know, the ones that show the stars and blah, blah, blah. So now the facilitator was like, because now it's a church thingy. So, and I feel like, siwezi tena anza kuadvise these kids. Waanza tukwenda kusoma na kuperuse hizo pages za Kama Sutra and everything. Venye alidojio swali sijui. But I think that's when now we're having such kind of a platform like this one to discuss such things. Because how do you, as you've asked, gain experience? Theoretically, as this guy was saying.
Hata nikaa tu baiskeli. Uwezi endesha baiskeli kwa paper. Lazima uendesha baiskeli mara ya kwanza uanguke. Mara ya pili uanguke. Mara ya tatu sasa utaanguka tena perfect. So I don't understand why ati theory aje. Hiyo ni delulu.
And also kama tunafunzwa kukua virgin, wacha tukue virgin sisi wote.
Including men.
Because kidogo
Noma, the balance.
Ati experience is a teacher and it's one-sided. Kwani hii class
but now
sisi
also
tuko nje.
ukiangalia side ya church when ulikuwa umegusia like what you're being taught, it's like okay, sex is a sin from that career
Before marriage.
Yeah, before marriage.
Let's say. We don't want to be attacked in the morning.
English.
So, what do you think about that? because mostly hatuwezi pima virginity ya man, the man. At the end of it all, hata ukiangalia hizi process, kuna watu from different cultures wanaendanga through even the testing. Unajua hiyo siku.
Yeah.
The man ama the woman?
The woman, of course.
Now how do we pima the
The man,
Yeah.
pH.
Ate, alafu inafanywa aje?
You see, it's
mneko mahali like for 7 days after wedding. So there's a woman, especially your time ilikuwa the older ones out. Anakam, kama ni sheets, because apparently back in the day tulikuwa tunaambiwa the minute it breaks, you're supposed to bleed. I don't know, because
you've not heard about that.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Alafu sasa
See, now it's going to
so
prove
the one, so anaweka hapo so that ndo wajue, just to prove that
you kept yourself.
you kept yourself
For your husband.
For the man.
Or husband.
The man mwenye hatuwezi pima if he's a virgin or not.
hata
if
yeye
you
bleed.
don't bleed,
Kwenye
then
atatoa
yeah,
hiyo damu mimi sijui.
But you see
Yeah,
now,
bleed.
but you see
I
now,
know.
that is where the problem began. Because the moment you are not a virgin, mama,
Yeah.
you are disowned,
Shida.
you are you are
Low quality.
unatupwa kwa community.
Yeah.
Like you are, like you become the blackest of the sheep of that
Yeah,
community.
And if I have ever built anything in that community, nakuja na nabomoa kesho.
You see
yake.
now, like in the age we're living in now, we can say that we have that freedom of living like that. But in those days, like it used to be such a big deal when you are excommunicated. Yani unatupwa. So that's why since then it has always been, you know, virginity bana. This is the value the woman carries. That it's been like that since day one, and I think that's why I'm actually enjoying the era we are in because
you're able to.
yes,
There's sexual freedom.
Yeah.
yes, you're able to choose. This works for me, so yes. This doesn't work for me. Backseat very fast, real quick. But them days, so imeenda hivyo kikuwa generation. Sasa imagine mama mwenye alitestiwa virginity yake
Imagine.
na alikuwa kuna mse fulani alikuwa anataka mwenye hangempata juu amekuwa betrothed I don't know to some son's chief son son wa chief fulani.
Chief son.
Kuzana kitambo ulikuwa unapata.
But you get it, job your love.
If a girl is a virgin, unakumbuka kitambo ilikuwa with men. Because kitambo back in the village, back in the day, ilikuwa kama wewe ni virgin unapatiwa kama gift.
Can you imagine?
Once you're mature, sasa wanasema sasa sasa umeripe sasa ndio unapatiwa kama gift. Mzee anakuja anaambia dena, niko na msichana, niko na nini, chukua. As young as even 15 years. Back in the day. So like virginity imekuwa such a big deal to a point yenye I'm pretty sure even losing it, because in our days ilikuwa maka ile siku umelose lazima ujue am I doing it the right way with the right person, na ilikuwa definitely has to be after marriage.
So if you're in an abusive
Ukitell
relationship ama umeolewa na mtu abusive nivyo, oh dear.
Like now you have to live.
Yeah,
Na
sitapati umekaa hapo basi.
Oh, because now
Umesha marry, meaning
Yeah.
if it's after marriage, it's more of an imprisonment to you, the lady. It's not nothing to him.
I remember back in high school. It was a counselor alikuja kuongea na sisi, and then she gave an example ya avocado. Like no, alikuwa anatuambia usikubali kushikwa. You know the avocado ati
Vile
leo unaambia na mama mboga usifinye hiyo kitu. Usifinye, so the more you're having it with different people,
Utajuaje imeiva basi ukikosa kufanya funya?
unaambiwa the more sasa unajua sasa avocado kifinya sana inakaa so ukishikwa sana the same thing unasema mtu ameingia kwa
hakuna mtu ataibai.
Sasa in the minute you're in that marriage and then you leave, would anyone want you? Like hapo kushapitiwa.
Sasa una get point yangu. Watu tulikuwa tunaambiwa tukue virgins for the men. But right now, do you think even men wanna care who they're going to marry? Whether you're virgin or not, do they even care?
This Gen Zs are
Na mwenye
saying it.
anajali danganya yeye.
Wanaimba mpaka there's this song sijui jenye imepitio ndo na
Anapitia.
see there's a
Yeah.
line. They don't care. You guys don't care.
Hawataki kutengeneza njia.
Hiyo iko ndo nataka hiyo.
Because I'm sorry to say this, but even with our parents and parents of our parents and parents of our parents, these people got into relationships with people because of let me use kairetu, keruete, you know, a ripe girl, you know, she's not touched, nothing. But most of these people went into relationships that are abusive.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
With the wrong
They
people.
never
They're wrong
learned
people.
who they are dating, who they are marrying, all because, oh, you're saving yourself for this person. Like you're saying, chief unakuwa gift kwa chief. Sani ya chief.
Yep.
Yes. The same thing
So
with
it's not
you.
about whether this person's character is good. It's not about whether this person is a kind person. It's more of, oh, I want to marry a virgin. Na ya amerandaranda kijiji mzima.
Of course.
Akilala na kila mtu.
You know, it does not matter, guys. You do you.
I have a question. I have a question for you, ladies, because does the man who breaks your virginity, like, does he have this special impact to you emotionally? Like, is there any attachment from experience?
Sangapi?
From experience. Kumbuka mtu wako wa kwanza. Kumbuka mtu wako wa kwanza. Ama
Hata
tamkumbuki.
tuseme tu wewe ukumbuki. You don't remember this.
Na hata
face.
tukimkumbuka, we are not happy about it.
Hey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so during that time, I don't know what age you guys broke your virginity. I'm looking at this teenage girl, and she's curious. Ama she feels, like, no, I'm ready, and, I want to go right ahead. And do you think, because a teenage girl, but the hormones, and she's still growing, she's still experiencing, she's still, trying to learn herself as well, all her sexuality. Yes, my hormones in waka heavy, and all that.
Yeah.
So the guy who actually breaks her, does she develop any kind of, attachment to this person? Especially today.
The first love.
I think the attachment is there before because, like you said, it is pushed towards, the first love, your first everything,
Yes.
mutaoana. Alafu uvunjwe roho
Sasa that's the
msichana.
problem.
Unajua hujui.
Me, I experienced that, man.
Personally, I would say, your time,
So,
ulikuwa attached.
hey,
On a notebook.
sasa unajua,
Did you
I also grew up in
detach?
church. I also grew up in church. So nile like, I'll try my best.
You're
But
my
when the
only
best
one.
breaks. So I was like, let me see, this thing can, we'll have to make it work, bana. We'll have to make it work. Hakuna venye we can, go through
Tunachana,
this, and then, but it doesn't go like that.
Personally,
But the emotional
over time,
drain.
mimi nikuja kuona they are not my type,
Yeah.
Like, what was that? If I can take it and give it to someone else,
Like right now, when
yeah.
you turn your head to look at this person, unapita
Nah.
mtu kama
like, who are you?
hujui ni nini ilikuwa hapo.
Because
But you see, we are saying this because now we have grown and we've moved on from that situation, and we can look back and talk about it, So I'm like, if I was to send a letter to my younger self, I'd be like, girl, think twice. It's not just about sex. It's not just about physical body, just experiencing it and all that. There is more to it. Like, it's emotional, it's spiritual and all that, blah, blah, blah. So before you actually choose the person to do it with, think twice. So that you're not left in that situation of, Joe,
I also
what
feel
was I
like even
thinking?
as
The things our
ladies,
parents walikuwa nafaa kuwa wanatuambia, not usilose, like, unajua, like, what are you picking from this guy? When energy gani una pick? Soul ties. Right now, unaangalia mambo ya soul ties, uko like, unaambiwa hata maybe umeattach na ule alibreak years ago. Ati kuna ile soul tie.
your
umeget
blood
hiyo.
ties.
So true.
Sasa unajaribu kuangalia maybe ni kuna wengine hapo katikati. Sasa hata uja break ile ya fast. You see
sasa
so
hata
many things.
shida hiyo ni wewe si first wake.
That's the thing. Unaambiwa yeye amepick anakuletea. Sasa tujue alikuwa anakuletea. You see those kind of things. I think wange tu instead kuambiwa ukishikwa you're not pure, what. I think wange tuambia so many things about the whole sex thing.
It was
And
not
the whole
all
virginity. It
about
was
losing the virginity, yeah.
Haikuwa hivyo, kulikuwa na so many things unatouch na nani. Unaget?
So generally, sex education is very
supposed to be,
important.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's very,
And
very important.
unfiltered.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Unfiltered.
filtered. Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Alafu, let's talk about, because virginity is always attached to the hymen. Right? Hiyo ndo kitu kiburi wa watu wa guy ni me. Personally, like I was telling you guys before, for ladies, the hymen was never meant at it's a big deal. No. Sorry for my language. I'm about to be very
Unfiltered.
unfiltered. So, let's put a boy and a girl, right? A boy has only one opening, which is number 2. A girl has 2. The reproductive system and number 2, right? So, mtoi msichana akifanya number 2, the hymen is mainly to stop number 2 to going to number 1. Kufanya number 2 isiingie number 1. Basically just to block it off, right? But I feel like hiyo yote ilipushiwa, mkaambiwa ati akitoa damu. If any opening is perforated for the first time, itatoa damu. Iwe mdomo, iwe masikio, iwe wapi. It will. Because we've also had the same experiences with people who talk about anal, right? They also say the same thing. Hiyo ni virginity.
Ati umeita koza nini hiyo?
Hymen, the hymen.
Hiyo hymen hiyo.
Ina tashwishi.
Traumatized us with that thing.
Yeah,
because unaambiwa the same thing kuna sema usipande mti, ukipanda mti ita break. Ukiendesha bike, the more unaendesha bike unaitoa.
Doesn't make any sense.
Using
And the worst
tampons.
part is this. Hi, you've broken your virginity. Let's talk about women who go give birth. Right? Sipia nini, you'll be katwad kidogo ama you'll start bleeding because your vagina is opening up, right? You're a virgin to birth. Like virginity doesn't just come with sex. It comes with a lot of fasts. So it's not just the vagina, the hymen. It's not sex. Nikikosa kuoa mtu hayuko mtu hayuko it's a lot of fast. So virginity is more of fast. But we've been conditioned to think that it only applies to this one organ in specific people, that hiyo ndo tuta control, hiyo ndo tutaweka kitu title fulani, na hiyo ndo tutaweka itupatie sisi kiburi. Honestly, it doesn't benefit us ladies in any way. It does not.
Okay, ladies, I'm very glad that we are having this discussion. Na unajua kuna vitu tunasikia that is working, what was that? Unajua that was. However, don't we feel like kuna the other side of why we, like the society, maybe our parents, the church wanted us to remain virgins or to just keep ourselves. For example, ilikuwa inazuia to sleep around. Sex is such a distraction, ladies. Mostly kwetu ladies. So don't you feel pia ilikuwa inatupatia hiyo tunaweza kufocus, maybe usome, because we know kama hiyo kubreak virginity and all, kama hiyo time kwanza tukiwa mapema, pregnancies, you know, you lose your focus. Like what do you feel about that?
I don't think virginity has anything to do with you getting pregnant. You getting pregnant is you not using protection.
Yeah, but you see now you can't get
pregnant.
pregnant. You're still a virgin.
But you were told if you have sex you're gonna get pregnant, right? It's the fact that sex education did not consider the fact that you need protection to not get pregnant. So it's never about the virginity. It's more of ukipata mimba tuseme hata kama umerandaranda. Kuna wenye there's people who have like there's something called body count. Acha ni use that, right? There's something called body count, right? And they're not pregnant.
They've actually never been.
So for us, it was more of pregnancy was sold as a fear, but it was never brought, you were never told about protection or anything. Hence why people were having it just like that, because hujapatiwa your information. Otherwise, your virginity would not be sold in the image or packaged the way it was packaged as, if you break your virginity, you'll get pregnant.
Yeah.
For me, I think I'd agree with Martha. Like, I feel like obviously, there must have been a good reason as to why, irrespective of the method they used, you know, like fear and all that, there must have been a good reason for, you know, for people who cared about us to actually warn us and stop us from breaking virginities and all that stuff. But I still feel like it was supposed to be very well given sex education, not just ati sasa, don't do this,
because
don't do that. It's more of, you know, when you do this and this can happen, but it doesn't mean that, you know, your value is down and all that. And my biggest problem with the kind of sex education we received, because most parents actually never had the freedom to talk about their kids. Kwanza ati about sex. Kama hata puberty yenyewe, parents kukuonyesha it was such a huge deal, you know?
You having a period, ulikuwa unaenda unahisi.
Imagine.
Wajua mshangaa, is it because hawakuwa na information ama walikuwa waoga pia wao?
No, I feel even them they were not given the rightful
information.
Yes.
Mimi nakumbuka my mom used to tell me, "Would ukiguzwa shauri yako."
I know, hadi unataka
naguzwa wapi?
You know?
Like kuguzwa wapi?
hautaki hadi kukaa kwa desk na kijana.
Ulikuwa mbwati, hug ukihug mwana we
una hug mwanaume mbele
Utapata
yangu
mimba.
msichana.
umemea pembe.
So I feel like the biggest problem is you know, the way it was portrayed in a way that ikifika hiyo part yenye, some call it tripping, some calling it freedom, whatever name is attached to breaking virginity. Now time yenye mtu ame break, instead of like now you know, like doing or taking yourself as with value, like kuchukulia in the right way, now hiyo light ilikuwa inawaka when virginity was there, anaichukua naitupa chini ya kitanda huko, because now my light is gone. I can no longer shine, you know, my value is gone.
No longer you.
Yes, and you know, this thing has been going on, like there is this guy in psychology, Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis. He actually talked about the attachment of human behavior and sexuality. So like in his study, he'd like depict and show how the value to your sexuality, how the sexual side of your brain is, like if it's healthy, your human behavior on the outside is going to reflect it. It's going to show it. So imagine, now this is a Kayanka girl. She's in her whole life, ameambiwa virginity ndio value yako mama. Virginity ndio value. And then all of a sudden she finds herself with someone she likes, so she's ready. Si ati nile she's been raped or ati ameforsiwa. She's actually ready. She's had that conversation with herself, and genuinely she just breaks her virginity. And then after that, zile maneno zenye amekuwa kifidwa zinaanza kumhaunt, you know, like unaambia nini watu wewe na hata wewe si vajo. You know, that's what her mind is telling her. These are the voices in the sexual side of her brain.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, the confident girl with a bright future, the one who used to lead in class, the one who used to be all that, you know, and glowing and everything, ile sexual side yake ya brain inaanza ku reflect kwa human behavior,
And it's interesting,
inaanza ku diminish.
because those words, as much as they might be private, you've broken your virginity in private, like it's announced, it's public. Well, it was something that was intimate, and you feel like, imewekwa huku hivi, kila mtu anajua, iko kwa billboards,
Kama breaking news.
hata gazeti wameweka.
Hapo kwa breaking news, we're taking a short break. Let's sip our drinks. We'll be back to share and spill some more. This time round, tutakuwa na psychologist Jennifer. She'll be sharing more from the perspective of course, a psychologist and a parent. So, usiende mbali. Welcome back. This is Tea and Truth, and as we promised, we are back with our psychologist. Remember, today we're talking about virginity. So Jennifer, hi.
Hi.
What is your take on virginity in this day and era?
I'm getting to even ask myself, where am I coming from as a lady, and what thought did I have about virginity there before, and where we are today when I look at the generation and what has happened. It was very important at the beginning when I was a little child, and when I was a little girl in my teenage, because I had it from my auntie, my grandmother, and my mother. They talked about it, and it was so precious. Today I'm looking at what has changed. What has changed in the generations. We have the millennials and we have Gen X. So as Gen Z, when I was listening to your conversation there before, I was finding like, wow, these girls are open. For us, it was, we had to only think about the virginity to sex. It was not put anywhere else. But today you people are opening it up to even the confidence. So for me, I'll tell myself, I can be open-minded in it as a Gen X, because I am looking at the generations that are there, the millennials and Gen Z. So I am nodding to, I think we can have a conversation. So I would not be limiting myself to it is only that I should remain pure if I am a virgin. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting take, especially from someone who's not from our
Generation.
era.
Yes.
So I have one question.
Yes, please ask.
Do you feel like right now the topic on virginity is very different because maybe there's more conversation on sexual education than there was during your time? Or do you feel like sex education has played a role in making virginity not something that is feared, like breaking your virginity or being devalued because, oh, I've broken my virginity, I'm no longer this? Yeah.
I'm at this place where Natasha, when you talk about that there is education, you know, when information comes to us, you now find that we have power. We can broaden our way of thinking. So as little as it is, because it's not so much done. Remember, like, let me talk about my generation. It was a taboo. Nobody ever talked about sex organs, and when they did, you can imagine it was under the cover. And every time they brought it out, it was brought out with the eye of this very shaming. Why should you be talking about even the body sex organs? So today you're bringing it to the conversation because at least when we go to school, we find that it's being touched in some of the subjects. So the conversation now is open, and I think everybody should come on board. Let's the generations that are there before, the X, the baby boomers, and those generations, the silent generation, come to that place where they can sit and talk about it. Because you people who are in millennials and the Gen Zs, you're at that place like, it is okay that I can speak about it. I'm not ashamed about it. And that is the place where we are. And it brings a lot of sense because when I speak about it, I can be able now to bring even what are the extremes in both ways. If I get to this and overindulge, what are they? I can bring it out on board to everybody, even to myself as a personal conversation. And so I will ask myself, what is the best and what is the worst that can happen if I get here? So the conversation should get even a bit broader. Let's have more information about it. Yes.
So Jennifer, you're saying information is power. That's what I'm getting from you.
Yes.
And this power is giving us freedom, you know? So according to you, is sex before marriage freedom or it's being irresponsible?
Wow, I can see the end Natasha is saying, hey, I want to listen to this. Please do. And I'm getting to this. Now, when you limit yourself to, is it only the act? You know, when you limit yourself to act alone, that time you'll be so limited and you're going to carry a lot of negative emotions towards it because you'll be like, you carry guilt if you have the sex before marriage. Can you see? But if you open yourself up and tell yourself that I want to look at the reality of things, sometimes I want to get to what age do people start the conversation in their thoughts about I can have sex? This is when they're in teenage. So in the same teenage is when they want to adventure and know and experience. So when they are there, some of them will get into it. They got into it because they were adventuring. Others were there. They were just like, I was exploring on something. So now when they were exploring, they found themselves having the sex. So am I going to judge that person with the aspect of that was so wrong? You are the worst. Someone said the baddest of the baddest here. Is this person the baddest of the baddest? Is it going to define your character? Or with time as you grow and become more mature, that now you can be able to know that even if I did this, I can still come on the platform and be a good wife or even a good husband, and I can know exactly what I want with my life and how I'm going to define how I am going to have my sexuality. Yes. So you can you see that it is not going to be the act only. We are opening up to other things that are happening in life. So you cannot say that you only got into the act and you became a bad person because you had sex. Because can you see the other factors? Yes, that we can find ourselves there because we are just exploring. Look at even the older age where the Gen Zs are, where they are just getting to create intimate relationships. And in that, they find themselves getting into relationships with the opposite gender. And then the next thing, let's go and have sex. So are they going to say that they are the worst people in the world because they did it? They will not.
is it about age or it's about doing it before maybe marriage, or you achieve what you want to do? Because like what you've said about the Gen Zs, mtu amemaliza shule, tulikuwa tunaambiwa maliza shule, tafuta kazi, you know, settle, like you have your things, you know, together. What is the problem now if I have sex at that point? I'm not in school, I'm not in my mother's house.
I want to talk about, in psychology we have developmental stages. So let me talk about just a little bit about teenage and young adulthood. Teenage between 13 and 19. And at that time, that someone is discovering who they are, they're identifying themselves. That is where people will start now asking themselves, whom do I look like? Where did they give me this name? Gender, where do I want to be? Whom do I want to associate with? So at that time, remember we have said that they can also find themselves because they are adventuring, getting into sex. So in that stage, there are tasks they are supposed to be doing. So if they go and have the sex at that time because they're exploring, that would be a time now later in life, they'll be like, I did it when I was there. But why should I be judging myself so harshly? That was a stage and it went away. Because in every stage as we do the tasks, you will find that there are tasks that we'll do that are going to haunt us until old age. Let's take for example, today if I'm adventuring and I get maybe something, I do something, maybe I pierce a part of my body when I'm in my teenage, I'm just adventuring. When I'll be in my 50s, I'll be looking at that pierce and I'll be like, oh, why? Because remember, our cognitive part of the brain is maturing, is growing. Our reasoning go changing. When I was listening to you, I could pick very well that Natasha here is very different from Sharon because she is a millennial, she's a Gen Z. So you see now with the maturity as it comes in, you go changing. Now, when you get to older age now from 19 to 28, you find that now there are other tasks. This is where the men and the women now at that time, remember they're in college, others are having their first job. They are now in their mind that I can now settle down in life. I want to have, even if I have partners, I want to have a partner that I can count on. We might not get married, but I'm at this point, I am going to choose. I'm intentionally going to choose the partner that comes in. Remember, in teenage, you are exploring. So you found yourself at one point, and then another time you found in another person. But now here you are, I want to settle somewhere. So indirectly, you are there looking for someone you can settle down with. So yes, again, you're also looking at a time that I am looking at myself in 10 years. When you're a teenager, you never looked at yourself in that time. Now, with that maturity as it comes, you start now looking at things in a different way. And now you start looking at, oh, sex was an action, but now here I need it in intimacy when I'm a young adult, now in your 20s. And for boys, at 23, they'll still be struggling. They have the hangovers of teenage at 23 years. I'll explain why. And for the girls, at 23, they have matured. They want that intimate, settled situation. 25, 26. But now for men, even at 25, they're still struggling with it. But now at 28, now they are settled. So can you see the differences? So can you see how I would judge myself for not being a virgin when I'm in 18, 20? It will be very different when I am in my 20, 28, 29 years. Because at that time you're looking, it was not only about the act of breaking the virginity. Now here I am, even if I did it, I think I am at a certain level. I am not looking at the person who broke the virginity. I'm looking at how can I get the intimacy with a person, a concrete relationship that even can lead to marriage. You never know. Yes.
Dr. I have a question.
Yes.
Is it true that when you go for celibacy for a long time, that you're going to, you're going to go back to being a virgin? Is it true? Is it a myth or a fact?
I will let me not say a yes or no, but I want to get it to this. Now, let's look at our body organs. The sexual body organ, let's talk about one, mostly we are ladies here, so let's talk about our vagina and our cervix. Okay. Remember when you're having sex, your body part, the sexual body parts will be accommodating. See, as it accommodates the other organ, remember the muscles are, they are expanding and they are contracting. So sometimes, remember, let's get to the teenage where we are exploring so much. And you might be having the number 1, number 2, number 3. So your muscles are at times, you know, sometimes they even get shocked. What part am I supposed to be taking? Because they don't know what shape am I supposed to be taking and where. And then again, remember, so when these active activities are happening, they get to be a bit relaxed. No, I don't know, I hope you're getting what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So when they get a bit relaxed, with time, if you don't, what do? They just contract and get to a certain. Just the same thing when a woman is pregnant and she gives birth. What happens to her womb? It starts contracting, and so the stomach muscles also contract and they get back to shape. So at that time, now you can see if you are celibacy for a time, your muscles will have contracted. Yes, at a certain. So it is not about breaking the virginity. It is about the muscles having contracted for a certain level that now they are very much together. Yes.
Tight.
But does that mean you're going back to being a virgin? Because it's like you're talking about tightness.
Yes.
Right? Mama, I got it wrong.
No, it's right. Let me explain that virginity is about breaking the membrane. Okay. When we lose our virginity, we break the membrane. Okay. So I'm now looking at the old school me, the Gen X, coming from my grandmother and my auntie. So for them, it was not about the internal muscles or even the vagina part of it. It was about one particular membrane that they were like, this one can never be broken. And we'd rather protect it by even sewing, you know, the lips so that it can be protected in there. So what am I saying? So it is, you're not getting back to the virginity because already when the membrane is broken,
it can never come back.
It can never come back. But look at how the other muscles are going to contract and remain at one place and you become tight. Yes.
But we also have, what is it called? The Kegel. What's the word?
Kegel.
Yeah, so you have those ones.
Yes,
So you
The
can
ones
Yes.
that go exercises.
Okay.
I think those ones are for what she's saying,
Muscles.
contracting the muscles,
muscles.
because you hold and then you let go. It's more of cervical exercises.
Yes. Wow,
Yeah.
thank you, Natasha.
Yeah.
Education,
Yes, they are. And you said it's power. So you can, what she's talking about is, as we grow older, and this one happens to all the women, whether you give birth or not, whether you have had sex or not, as we grow older, what happens to our muscles, even on the face? They start, maybe you get the lines, they relax. So even inwardly, the muscles do the same. So sometimes you find that when people are getting older, if you don't do these exercises, by there are times you find that your bladder is a bit loose, so you can even leak the urine. So we keep teaching women, that is one of the main things that we teach women, to hold and release so that at least the muscles can be. And then again, the other one is for sex. Because remember what we have said, when you are actively involved in sex, what is happening to your muscles? They relax a bit. So when you keep now having the exercise, at least they get a bit tight. So it is important just to know that it is a healthy exercise that every woman should be doing. Yes. Oh, you want to be taught?
We'd like to learn how to.
Now, what happens when you are either seated, when you're walking, when you are... Wow, okay. I love this.
Mambo ni vulai.
So whether you're seated, whether you're walking, whether you're walking, whether you are anywhere, what you do is remember that you are in contact with your cervix. Yes, you can feel it. So what you do is in your cervix, hold the muscles together. And then just for some few seconds. Can you see it's something you can do even when you are alone, when even you're working? Yes, you hold your muscles together. You can do that for some few seconds and then you release. You can do 10 times episode at maybe at one set.
Are we
Let's
brave?
do this.
Let's do this.
To make this session even fun.
Yes.
Like now take us to be like,
We
Let's
go
do
one,
it.
Then
Yes.
count for us.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's start. So when I say one, I'm telling you to hold. So and then I will say release. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, one, hold. It doesn't mean that you need to show us that you're holding. You just relax and then hold. Release. Hold again. Number 2. And then release. You can sip as you're holding a third time. Please sip. So that you can make sure that you can be doing other activities as you do the exercise. And then release. Are you able to do that? And remember, don't hold the whole body. Don't bring tension. You're only holding the cervix. Because remember, this is something that is, it's just going to tighten the muscles of the of your cervix. Then hold again. Then release. Number 4, the last one, number 5, hold. And then release. Can you be able to do that every day?
Anytime.
Yes. Can you be able to do that every day?
Anytime.
It is an activity that you need to do, and you'll be surprised that now we have only done 5. Tomorrow, if you continue doing it,
And
you can be able to increasing. You can be able to go even to a 20. And as I'm saying, it's not a must that you do them at one time. Interval. You can give yourself maybe a target of about 20 or 30 in a day. As you walk. Remember at the beginning I said even as you walk, as you work. Even as you do anything, you can be doing that.
Imagine you're in the Uber and you're just there.
Focus.
One, release.
That's what I was saying. Just make sure that you are relaxed.
Okay. Yeah.
So that at least it will not be, you'll not be finding it like it's a duty to do. It is something that you'll be enjoying doing it. But you know the 2 benefits, making your muscles and even helping your bladder get tightened so that at least you cannot be having some urine leaks.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think you mentioned about, we've spoken about celibacy.
Yes.
And I'm sure most of us millennials, back in the day, tulikuwa tunaambiwa preserve yourself, ile siku utakuja kuhappen, like utaifanya mpaka utachoka. You get? And I think that's where we are as millennials. To a point where tumechoka, but it's not a big deal, tulishachoka. But along the way, definitely, maybe there are those umekuwa na that one partner, and there are those pia maybe umeheartbreakiwa ikakuwa the body count si moja, maybe it's kuna kadhaa. So, and then I spoke about soul ties because I was watching something where someone was saying, unapata uko na, sorry to say so, but mluya unashanga, mbona all of a sudden nimeanza kupenda chai, because you get, what are you picking? So I don't know, maybe you can shed some light about the soul ties and the body counts.
Now, before you even get there, I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
And when I taught, one time I was teaching sex education, and we were wondering how to bring it on board, because I'm coming from a generation where everything about sexuality was a taboo. So I remember there was one beautiful illustration that was said, that it's like when you bring something and put it in a very good container and keep it in a freezer, and now you're in teenage. And then you go with it until another 10 years, you're going to get it from the fridge, and then you thaw it, and then you can use it. That is how it was being brought up. I've said that because Sharon had talked about the avocado and touching and the black marks that gets on it. So when you talk about the soul ties, I want you to look at the spiritual part. And I want to see, what does sexuality connect me to in spirituality. One, as a religious person, in my religion that I'm a Christian, the first question that we were always taught in Sunday school, our bodies are the temple of the Holy
Spirit.
So how many spirits do you want to come into that body that you want to be holy? Wow. Can you see? That is what Christianity taught us. Can you see the spirits? So can you see the spirits that you're bringing in? You're bringing in so much. That is now the spiritual part of it. What about when it comes to the physical you? Remember when I was explaining about the muscles, the cervix muscles? And I said the confusion that we bring in. How many of them do you want to bring the confusion in that part? That the muscles are at one time they are like a si tujiachirie tu sasa hata tujui tuanze wapi na tuende wapi na tufanye nini. See, that is the kind of a thing that is going to happen. Now, when all these two are happening, the physical and the spiritual, what is happening to your emotional part? I am wondering, I met this guy, I met another one. This guy, character development. The other one, body shamed me. The other one, what did he do? He conned me my money. What is the emotional part of it? I got disappointed. I am carrying guilt. I am angry with these people. And then you can imagine you have a cocktail, a very good cocktail of negative emotions that will be coming from the different sexual partners. So can you look at how I'm looking at it? I'm wondering, is my one body going to be able to carry all this? And mother, what is this that is making you sigh and you're like, whoa, is she talking about something? Have you never thought about these things?
No. Let's not mention
So it is important to ask yourself the spiritual impact, the physical impact, and the emotional impact in it. Yes, so that now you can even get to a place where you are like, I think I need to make a decision from this, from what I find out. Because if I literally look at the three, they're giving me a big pack of things I need to explore on. Yes, have I answered your question?
Yeah.
So you can now see the soul ties and
can you break them? Assuming maybe
yes. At one point I get to I am again going to use the same. I'm going to use the same. I want to see when we get to the spiritual part. What does my religion tell me about our God? Our God is a God who is graceful. He will always forgive us for, I'm not preaching, but I'm bringing a reality of religion. Now, when I get there, I need to ask myself, how do I get to be now, have a spiritual connection so that I can seek for forgiveness from God? And how can I break these ties that could be having, as you're saying, the countdown, and you're like, I've carried so much. So getting to have a better relationship with your God, your higher power. You know, we all have higher powers. So get that deeper. Then when it comes to the emotional part, I'm carrying this cocktail of so many negative emotions. Can I take them to a specialist? We have counselors, we have psychologists, and these people can bring on board and they help you deal with the emotions that are going with it. So the guilt will go away. They will bring you to a place where you deal with the guilt, you deal with, and then now from there you make a decision. How do I keep my body now clean? How do I do it? Is it by going to the hospital and having all the tests that I can have so that I can know from all these ties physically, did I get an infection out of it? So that I can know, and then from there I make a decision to remain pure, or I want to remain at a place where I think I am going to choose which orientation I take. Yes.
Jennifer, allow me to ask you.
Yes,
I feel like we've been talking mostly kwa watu wenye walichagua ku break the virginity, right? What about the ones wenye maybe
it was taken.
Yes. That's also very important, by the way, and unfortunate. It's so unfortunate for them because you can imagine someone forcibly did it. And today, I am finding out that it's not only done to girls and women, even men are getting raped. Yes, and yes. The first thing we need to know is, remember, this person is physically hurt. Because you can imagine when you're raped, it was forceful. So as we do it, the first thing we need to do is make sure that now, physically, they have no physical pain. Because even if you come to my office and you're having a conversation and you're not comfortable, because maybe you are hurt and you are wounded, it will not make sense. So I first need to make sure that that person gets the physical treatment. We take them to the hospital through that journey of even going to the police and reporting. And then from there, we need to make sure that now we get them on board as to see a psychologist. Because we need to bring them to know that I am a victim and I did not do anything to make this person do this bad thing to me. It is because they chose. So there is no place that I took activity in it. I am not owning to that because it is them who wronged me. But I want us to look at where the society is coming from. Where if it happened, girls were asked, kwa nini ulikuwa unapitia hiyo kajia? Kwa nini ulienda usiku?
Ulikuwa umevaa nini?
Thank you. Kwa nini ulikuwa umevaa hiyo kanguo? Kwa nini uko, yes, so be those ones. So we first need to demystify, even, sorry, that would be something else. Demystify from, the society, so that we can know that this person is a victim and they are hurting in all ways, so that we can now bring them on board. So when they are doing medication, and then they are going to see a therapist, a psychotherapist, now they can be helped to deal with the emotions that are very, very negative.
You said there's a lot of people who've gone through very traumatic experiences. They never had any control over it. And I feel like we shouldn't shame them, but they also shouldn't feel like, oh, I'm worthless, I'm this. There's a lot of yara, yara, yara that's not factual. And the good thing is that we have Daktari here and her contacts are on screen. So if you feel like you want to talk about certain situations, she is here and you can reach out to her. No judgment. You can even reach to us through our social media handles. We can get you the help that you need. Yes. And at the end of the day, don't feel like it's something that you should, how do I say, it's an obligation to yourself, emotionally, mentally, and physically, and also, like she said, spiritually. So yeah.
Ladies, that has been deep. Next time, let's remember to carry our notebooks and our pens. Because Jennifer, you've shared a lot. And we thank you so much for sharing the information. We've learned a lot. And I also hope that you've learned at home or wherever you're watching us from. I have been your host, Martha Mothoni. And remember, at the end of the day, it's about your body. Whatever decision you make, do it with freedom, not from a point of fear, right? Until next time, this has been Tea and Truth. And until next time, bye.
Toodles.
Bye, and be intentional and conscious in life.
Your self-respect is not determined by your virginity.